Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this finance update. This is the first finance update I've done, but it is something that I plan to do on a regular basis. The reason why I want to do this is because everything we see on the media is fake. Whether it's social media or if it's on the news, on Channel 9 or whatever, it's all fake and we really don't know what to make of it. Um, Unfortunately, when it comes to our finances, however, that is a particularly dangerous thing. And the thing I've noticed over the last 10 years or so is that rather than actually find out what's going on to try and make informed decisions about our finances and our future, we kind of just dig our heads in the sand. So, what I would like to do is basically unpack what's being said and just try to give you my opinion on things. Obviously, finances matter, and I think they're going to keep on mattering more into the future. Why? Because we've just kind of lived through what some people might call the Goldilocks period. Basically, we've lived through a lot of prospering. In my opinion, that's not going to be at works in the next 10 years or so. So I'm putting it back onto you to take responsibility of your financial future, and I'll try and help you unpack the news so you can control the financial decisions that you make. By the way, none of what I say is obviously financial advice. All right, let's get into it. I'm calling it the not recession, the US not recession. Here's an article from CNBC. White House goes on offense to argue that the US is not in a recession. What does that even mean? How is anyone supposed to make sense of that? Firstly, I'm going to explain to you what a recession is because most people have heard the word and they understand it's a scary word. But what actually is it? So, a recession is commonly known as two negative quarters of GDP in a row. So, 6 months of negative GDP. What is GDP? GDP is basically the total amount that a nation spends. So, if spending's going backwards, then that's a negative quarter of, well, if spending's going backwards for 3 months, that's a negative quarter of GDP. If it happens for the next 3 months, then that's a recession. So basically, what's happened in America is that the US have gone through 2 quarters of negative GDP. And now the White House have come out and all these other politicians and other sorts of bureaucrats are saying, no, we're not in a recession. That's not the meaning of recession. We've changed the meaning of recession, so now we're not in a recession. Um, so they've made a number of arguments about it, why they're not in recession, and that's cool. You could probably argue that point at a different time. What I want to do is come at it from a different angle and say, well, that's pretty scary to me. I look at it and go, if a massive country that's supposed to be a democracy just starts changing the meaning of important terms, then to me, that's a really bad look. It's like, well, what else are they going to change? And if you look at how governments have been running themselves, probably the last 10 years, but let's say the last 3 years since the pandemic era has begun, I think it starts painting a pretty drastic picture. Now, I don't want to go too much into that side of things, but I guess the message I want to spread to people, especially in Australia and my customers that I've run my mortgage business through for over a decade now, is that I see people almost asleep at the wheel when it comes to managing their finances. Um, they're, they're asleep at the wheel. I don't know how else to put it. People just aren't interested in finance, in their financial future. Now, a few people have been scared into caring about their financial future in the last 4 months, which I think is a positive to come out of this raising interest rates period. But I think that people just think the good times are going to roll on, and they think if the good times don't roll on, don't worry, the government are going to print some more money and there'll be some more stimulus available for us. Um, what I want to say to that is not the right way, in my opinion, of looking at things. I think if you look into history, you'll find that that is wrong very quickly. And my point is that you should take responsibility for your own finances, because I think what's going to happen in the next 10 years is that we're going to be going down the other side of the roller coaster, so to speak. And you cannot afford to just be willy nilly sticking your head in the sand. It leaves you in a very compromised position. Let's just put it that way. Let's move on to the next bit of news, and that is the Jackson Hole Symposium. That sounds like a really fancy word. And when I first heard it, I was like, what does that even mean? So Basically what it is, I Googled it. It is a meeting of all these important people. So it's a gathering of central bankers from around the world, academics, other influential economic thinkers, policymakers, and journalists. So yeah, a really bunch of interesting people to hang out with, basically. The reason why I bring up this bit of news is this is happening this weekend. Overnight, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, America's central bank, came out and said a speech. So basically, what he said was that hold your horses, everyone. I'm going to keep raising interest rates to fight inflation. And this is very important for everyone to get because basically, what that means when you dumb it down is that interest rates are going to keep rising. So that might panic you a bit, but that's the reality. That's what they're saying they're going to do because inflation's high. I don't know how else to put it. Now, the reason I bring up this news, as I said before, is that it should motivate you or inspire you or do something for you to focus on your own finances because you need to plan for the worst and hope for the best in this situation. So I know a lot of my clients haven't planned for the worst. I know a lot of my clients haven't planned for interest rates being this high. What if they go up another couple of percent again, or 1.85 or whatever it's gone up? So my point is that it's no good blaming someone else. It's no good pointing the finger when you look back at things in 20, 30 years. Your situation is your situation and you need to own it and you need to take responsibility. So a part of that is planning for the worst. What else could happen? Do I have enough savings? Have I got the right insurances in place? These sorts of questions are the responsibility of their own people. I'm tired of saying responsibility now, so I'm going to leave this for today. Hopefully, I'll be back soon with some more news. If you like this and you want to hear more of it, please let me know. If you want me to comment on any particular sorts of news, let me know. Like and subscribe, please. Cheers.